I just made a video talking about my top 3 craziest manifestation, and it got me thinking about, what throughout my life has really been, the first and second craziest things that I've manifested. And, I've done some thinking, and I just released a video on this crazy experience I had, and I believe that rings in at number 3. It's the last video I put out. You can check it out. I'm going to share with you my first and second craziest manifestation. The second one is kind of a little silly, so I'm going to start with the first one. But both of them were actually before my awakening, when I was kind of still unconscious. So I'm going to start with number 1. This was in 2001 when my mom was still alive. I'd got back from the bar around 3:34 in the morning. I was absolutely SHIT faced, and I went on my computer. Back in those days, you got the big computer at the desk, right? And I'm half in and out of consciousness, and on my feed popped up. I'm gonna show you guys my age here. There was this show back in the day called Gonna Meet a Rock Star, and it basically was a contest on Much Music. You could type in who you would want to meet if you could meet any like celebrity rock star kind of thing, right? And so I remember saying something about, I wish I could meet Snoop Dogg, right? And I didn't think too much of it. Days go by, and I come back from White Pine. I was chilling at the lake all day, and my mom was like, yo, someone from Much Music called you. And I was like, what? Like, nah, get out of here, right? And I, at the time, didn't really have any memory of doing this. But I ended up getting a phone call, and it was a producer from Much Music, and they're like, congratulations, you're in the top 3 of this Gonna Meet a Rock Star contest, right? And they're like, can you be home at this date? We're going to ask you some questions before we make our final decision. So more days go by, and the time comes around where this individual was going to be showing up at my house to ask me some questions. And I'm standing there in like boxer like pants, right? And a white t-shirt. My mom was like, maybe you should go get dressed in case they're just playing around, and maybe they show up and you're on camera. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, fine. I go get dressed, and the doorbell rings. I come downstairs, I open up the door, and there was this VJ there back in the day named George Stropolopagus. And I open up the door, he's standing there, and right beside him is this camera guy, and George grabs me, yanks me out of the house. He's like, congratulations, you won Gonna Meet a Rock Star. You're gonna meet Snoop Dogg. And Snoop Dogg came and played at the Coliseum about an hour away. They hooked us up with a limo. I got to spend the night in a fancy hotel. I was on TV, I got my 15 minutes of fame. Was backstage with Snoop before his concert. I may have smoked some of the green stuff with him. He was like, oh, you want some gin and juice? I was like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, oh, we're all out. So he ended up pouring me some Hennessy. So I was backstage before the concert drinking Hennessy and smoking these cannons with Snoop Dogg, right? The whole time they're filming me. When I left the backstage, I could barely walk. And, they aired that episode on TV for a few months. I had my 15 minutes of fame. I was getting recognized everywhere I went. I was getting people buying me shots and asking for autographs and calling my house. It was kind of crazy. But that was definitely my craziest manifestation. George told me that 200,000 people had applied, and I won it. So my second craziest manifestation is kind of a silly one. But when I think about it, it's kind of, it just takes the number 2 spot for the craziest manifestations I've ever had in my life. Me and my girlfriend at the time, who would end up becoming my wife, we were vacationing at Disneyland, and we were chilling at the pool in the back of our hotel. We were the only 2 people there. I was like early 20s. My girlfriend was chilling, and I decided to go jump in the pool. So I'm swimming in the pool. And the next thing you know, this tour bus pulls up, and it's fully loaded with ladies from a volleyball team that were on a tournament. And the next thing you know, this pool was full of girls. Their tops were coming off left, right, and center. I went from being the only one in the pool to having, like, everywhere I looked, a pretty lady that was ripping their top off. And I can't help but to think that that was definitely my number two craziest manifestation. That's all I got. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.